The will. The air inside the lawyer's office was thick, not with smoke or perfume, but with tension so sharp it could slice through silence. John Walker sat at the end of the polished oak table, hands folded, eyes fixed on the portrait of his late ex-wife that rested on the shelf. Catherine had always loved control, and even in death, she seemed to have the last word. Across from him, their son Ethan leaned back in his chair, expression unreadable, tapping his expensive watch against the wood. Between them sat Mr. Grant, the family lawyer, his spectacles catching the dim light. Mr. Grant cleared his throat. As per Mrs. Catherine Walker's final testament, her entire estate, valued at $160 million, is to be inherited by her son, Ethan Walker. The words hit John like a physical blow. For a second, he forgot to breathe. All of it, he whispered. Yes, the lawyer said softly. She made no provisions for you. Ethan's lips curled into a faint smirk. Guess she finally saw through you, Dad. John stared at him, the same eyes, same jawline as Catherine's. You weren't even born when I built half of what she owned, he said quietly. I stood by her when no one else would. Ethan shrugged. Then consider your debt paid. The lawyer hesitated, then pushed an envelope toward John. She did leave this for you. John tore it open with trembling fingers. Inside was a single piece of paper, 2 words written in Catherine's graceful handwriting. Forgive me. For a long moment, John just sat there, the words burning into his soul. Then he looked up at his son, tears clouding his eyes. Someday, he said softly, you'll understand what that means. The memory. The old house smelled of rain and forgotten laughter. John stood in the doorway, his coat damp, his eyes fixed on the framed photograph resting on the mantel, Catherine smiling, Ethan only a boy in her arms. Time had yellowed the picture, but the warmth in it still burned like an ember. He poured himself a cup of coffee, cold, bitter, just the way his mornings had become. As thunder rumbled outside, he closed his eyes, and memory pulled him back 15 years. It was a Saturday morning. Catherine was humming to herself, her hair tied in a loose bun, flour on her hands as she kneaded dough. Little Ethan ran around the kitchen, pretending his toy plane was saving the world. Careful, Captain, John laughed, catching him mid-flight. Your plane's about to crash into breakfast. Catherine rolled her eyes playfully. And my brave pilot doesn't even help me with the cooking. John slipped behind her, arms around her waist. My mission, he whispered, is to protect the chef. She turned to him, her smile soft but sad, as if she already feared something she couldn't name. Promise me something, John, she said quietly. If anything ever happens to me, you'll take care of Ethan, no matter what he thinks of you. He frowned. Why would you even say that? Catherine looked at her son. Because one day, love gets twisted. People forget who fought for them. Don't ever forget him, even if he forgets you. The memory faded. The kitchen was empty again, no laughter, no warmth. John placed the photo back on the mantel and whispered to the silence. I kept my promise, Cat, even when you didn't. The truth unfolds. 2 weeks later, the cemetery was cloaked in mist. The marble headstones gleamed faintly under the gray morning sky. Ethan stood before his mother's grave, a single white rose trembling in his hand. The chill in the air bit through his designer coat, but it was the silence that hurt the most. In his pocket lay a sealed envelope, handed to him that morning by Mr. Grant, the lawyer. Your mother left you one final note, he'd said. Ethan hadn't opened it until now. He tore the flap and unfolded the letter. Catherine's familiar handwriting danced across the page, elegant, steady, full of warmth he hadn't felt in years. Greater than, my dearest Ethan. If you are reading this, it means I am gone. I left you everything because I trusted you to remember where it came from. Your father stood beside me when I had nothing. He built our home, our life, our dreams. Money can build walls, but forgiveness builds bridges. Don't let my mistakes become yours. Find him, listen, love him, as he always loved us. Ethan's hands shook as tears finally fell, dotting the paper. He turned, and there, by the gate, stood John, holding a small bouquet of daisies. No anger, no judgment, just tired eyes and a gentle smile. Ethan walked toward him slowly, every step heavier than the last. When he finally spoke, his voice cracked. Dad, I was wrong. John's eyes softened. No, son, he said quietly. You were just hurt. They stood there for a long time, the wind carrying Catherine's memory through the trees, a whisper of peace, a promise of healing. As they left together, the mist began to lift, and for the first time in years, sunlight found them both.